If you're following theater news, then you know that Olivier Award nominations for 2024 are out. This means that a lot of plays and musicals have received the prestigious nod to say that they are the best on the West End. Annoying thing is that a lot of these shows are for the previous theater seasons and you can't really see them anymore. But that's not the case for all of them. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about 5 shows which I've loved and which you can still see by the end of 2024. At the top of my list is a show which has received 9 Olivier Award nominations, and it's a musical which I've talked to you about a few times on the channel. So if you're a subscriber, you probably know which one I'm talking about. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe now. It is Guys and Dolls. This musical has received a nomination for Best Revival, but not only that, a lot of actors from the musical are nominated for Olivier Awards, as well as Best Choreography, Best Set Design, a lot of great things, which just suggests that this production is the one to go and check out. This musical is a romantic comedy set in 1950s in New York City, and it follows a few gamblers, a few of their love interests, and just the interaction between them. It is really fun and just lightweight, so I think you'd enjoy it if you want to go for a night out or just take your partner, a family member, or a friend. It's really good entertainment, and you can get also standing tickets, which means that you will be next to the stage surrounded by cast members and other theater goers. You will be moving throughout the show with them, and just you will be able to see the show from different angles. The music is very uplifting, and just generally it is an immersive experience from the moment you get into the theater. Also, if you don't want to stand for 3 hours, I'm sure that the show would be equally amazing if you get the seats. So it is up to you which one of these experiences you want to go for. It is a show that guarantees good time, and it's a great way to spend a night out, so I could not recommend it enough. The show is on at the Bridge Theatre until mid-December, and you can find tickets for as low as £40, but I am sure that I have seen on third-party providers a bit cheaper tickets for both standing and seats, so make sure when you're booking to check out third-party providers as well, because you might find a better deal. The second spot on my list is occupied by a musical which has received an Olivier Award nomination for Best New Musical, and this is not the only accolade it has. It has received 5-star reviews across the board, and you probably know that I'm talking about Operation Mincemeat. Operation Mincemeat is just so witty, upbeat, and an incredible story about a true event that took place during the Second World War, where British intelligence officers came up with the idea to plant a fake corpse in the Spanish water with classified documents so that they can sidetrack Hitler and occupy Sicily, and that way actually make a pivotal moment in the strategy of the Allies. What this musical does really well is puts this Second World War story into really fun and culturally maybe stereotypical narrative, but also it adds a lot of emotional substance to what they're talking about, which means that some of the characters that previously have not been heard of have received much deserved recognition after so many years. What deserves the biggest shout out when it comes to the Operation Mincemeat musical, it is its incredible cast, who are at the same time creators of the show. It is absolutely incredible seeing them perform live on stage, because they're having multiple characters that they need to switch between, and sometimes it just takes an additional prop and they're in a completely different character, and seeing them do that, it is crazy good. They are the stars of the show, quite literally, but I think knowing that they've also written the show just shows how much they are talented and how much they are dedicated to this show. You can see Operation Mincemeat until November, and tickets go for as low as £40. My third recommendation goes to the play that I've seen last year, which I've loved and talked about on this channel a couple of times because I was absolutely mesmerized by it, and it is Stranger Things: The First Shadow. I cannot express to you how great this play is and how amazing the production is. This is also reflected in the nominations, because quite a lot of Olivier Award nominations are for Best Sound, Best Design, Best Director. So all of this signifies that the production quality of this show is out of this world, and I have done a whole video talking about it, and I genuinely cannot express enough that this is the best show that I have seen in terms of how it's visually put together. But also this is the one for Stranger Things fans fans because it adds another layer to the existing story. It is a prequel and it talks about origin story of Vecna, the biggest villain in the show, and it is set before the events of the actual series. You will still be greeted with some familiar characters such as Joyce, Bob, and Hopper, who are the three key characters in the play, as well as Vecna and also Papa. So I think if you are a fan, this is going to be the best night out for you. And even if you're not a fan, I think it definitely deserves your attention because the level of production is brilliant. It is on until mid-December and tickets go for as low as £20. Obviously, the later in the year you go and see it, you have a bigger choice in terms of the prices, but at the same time, I think £20 is a really good deal for this show. My fourth recommendation goes to the musical, which has had an amazing run on Broadway, and finally it has come to the West End. While on Broadway, it has received 14 Tony Award nominations, and in total it collected 8 awards, including Best New Musical. It is Hadestown, and I cannot express to you enough how excited I am that it is on the West End. I went to see it recently and I've shared my thoughts here, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't love at first sight, but that was because I wasn't really familiar with the story, or I didn't really know what to expect. But now, when I've seen it, when I've listened to the soundtrack, when I know a little bit more about Greek mythology, I am obsessed with this, and the soundtrack of this musical is on my playlist constantly. The story of the musical follows Eurydice and Orpheus, two lovers, very famous in Greek mythology because unfortunately their love story ends tragically. But it also involves some other great Greek myths and characters such as Hades, Persephone, Hermes, and I do recommend to look up these stories so that you can understand better the role that they play in Greek mythology, and that will help you understand also relations between these characters. But even if you don't do that, I think the music of this show is so unique and so different to regular musicals. It has folk, it has jazz, it has musicians on stage, and it doesn't have a massive set that really distracts you from that music, but you're constantly focused on characters that are on stage most of the time and they're interacting with each other, and there is no dialogue. So it just goes from one song into the other song and you're taking on this beautiful lyrical and musical journey. But this comes with a caution of, if you are not necessarily a musical theater fan, I think it would be really hard for you to switch off because there isn't really any spoken dialogue. So that's something to bear in mind if you're kind of in between musicals and plays. It might be a harder one for you to follow, but at the same time, it is so worth it because it is such a unique show and it is so well acclaimed that you have to go and see it. You can see Hadestown until the end of the year because it has just opened and tickets go for as low as £20. So I highly recommend you go and check it out. And my fifth recommendation goes to a play which has been nominated for the Best New Play, and it is The Hills of California, written by Jess Butterworth and directed by Sam Mendes. These two have collaborated before for the very acclaimed show called The Ferryman, and they are amazing duo when it comes to writing family dramas and plays that are really going deep to explore the relationships between different family members and how families kind of live together and ups and downs that they go through. This play is set in 1970s in Blackpool, and it follows 4 daughters who reunite because their mother is unwell. This is the first time in a while that they see each other, and their lives have taken different turns, and there's a lot of reminiscing of the time when they were younger. And there's also a cast of 4 girls, which helps us switch between present and past and just really bring those memories from when they were young and how things were and what happened. Both the young girls and daughters at the present are fantastic, and actually some of them have been nominated also for the Olivier Award for Best Actor. However, it is worth bearing in mind that this is not a happy show. It comes with a lot of emotional intensity, with a lot of family drama, and just generally the feeling of unease because these characters are not in the happy place and they're not in happy relationships with each other. So I think it's more suited for people who prefer serious plays and just serious topics to be discussed at the theater. Another thing to bear in mind is that it has 3 acts and it lasts just under 3 hours, which is a little bit on a longer side. And another thing that I need to say to you is that it starts at 7, which is unlike the other shows on the West End, which start at 7:30, and I've learned that the hard way. I've talked about it in this video, so check it out if if you want. It is on the West End until mid-June, and you can get tickets for as low as £15. I know the theatre is considered a pricey experience, but as you could hear, for all of these shows, the tickets range from £15 to £40. This is not the best seats in the house, but still it is possible to do it on a budget. If you're looking for more tips and tricks on how to secure those cheaper tickets and how to make sure that they are actually good seats, then check out this video where I'm sharing more about that.